Welcome back to another episode of Bass Bros, and today I have some exciting news for you. It's been actually below freezing for the past week and a half, so we're starting to get some solid layers of ice forming on our lakes and ponds around here. And I actually know two guys that have already went out ice fishing and have caught some bass and bluegill and everything like that. So that is very exciting to hear. So I actually have to go get my ice fishing stuff because I've had it stored away for all summer long, so I have to go get that out and get everything prepped and ready to go for when I head out, probably within the next week or so. Okay, so I actually want to use this video to help out some beginner ice fishermen here that don't know what tackle they need and don't know what equipment they need to get started ice fishing. So I got my stuff, and let me hop into it and share with you guys what you need to get started ice fishing. And if you're already experienced at ice fishing, you can still just tag along if you want to look through my tackle and see what I have. So hands down, probably the most important thing you're going to need for ice fishing is an auger. Well, that kind of makes sense because you need a way to get through the ice right here. I actually have two augers. I think this is a 4-inch hole and the other one's a 6-inch hole. It's just depending on the size of fish you're trying to catch, but you don't need two. One auger will be sufficient. And you can also get gas augers that can get through thicker ice, but for me, I don't have more than maybe 10, 11 inches of ice, so using a hand auger gets the job done. But if you're in some really cold areas and you get 20 plus inches, it might be beneficial to get a gas auger because you can get through a little bit quicker. Okay, so next up you're gonna need an ice fishing rod, and both of these are fairly cheap. You don't need to spend a lot of money in ice fishing rods. I don't spend a whole lot. I think this one, which is a Berkeley amp, is 30 bucks, and this one is a 13 fishing blackout. I think I got this for 35 bucks. So they're not too pricey at all. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on an ice fishing combo. You can get some fairly cheap ones that are really good. And also, if you want some ice fishing line to go with your ice fishing rod, obviously the point of ice fishing line, guys, is that it repels the water so that your guides don't freeze up and your line doesn't freeze up when you're trying to fish in freezing temperatures, because it gets really annoying if everything just freezes up every second. But if you want to check out Beyond Braid, which is where I got this ice line right here, you can get 10% off if you use code BASSBROS, and I'll get the link down in the description if you want to buy some for yourself. Next up, another very important thing is an ice scoop right here, because when you drill that hole, the ice shavings are going to fill up your hole, and you need something to scoop it out so that you can actually get your bait down in the hole and do some jigging. The next item is not completely necessary, but I would highly recommend getting some ice picks right here, because just in the case that you fell through the ice, pray that none of you ever are in the situation where you are falling through the ice. But if you do, it's good to have ice picks around your neck so that you can get a grip on the ice and pull yourself out. All right, now let's get into some terminal tackle and other stuff that you're gonna need while you're ice fishing. I don't have a whole lot of tackle. I keep all my ice fishing stuff right in here, so I'm gonna show you guys what I have. So the bait that I would recommend for beginner ice fishermen, if you just want to get into ice fishing, would just be a little tungsten jig right here. All you gotta do is tip this with a live wax worm, throw it down there, and start jigging it. You can catch about anything from perch, bluegills, sunfish, bass, anything. I caught a smallmouth on one of these things. So just getting a little tungsten jig and tipping it with the wax worm is probably the only bait that you need to use ice fishing when you're first starting to get into it. So that's what I would highly recommend to use at the start. And also another important thing is to have these little weights right here, because if you don't have a fish finder and you don't know when your bait is at the bottom or where your bait is very crucial to have one of these that you clip onto your jig, you let your line down, and obviously when that thing thumps on the bottom, you'll feel it, your line will stop moving. You maybe reel up a few cranks and then just close your spool, and then you hand line your line in, take off this little weight, and then just let your jig sink back down there, and then you'll know you're at the bottom for sure, because that's where the fish are and you want to be where the fish are. So other baits that you can use besides just a waxworm tipped jig is, I don't know, jigging wraps like this or little spoons like this. I personally don't have a whole lot of luck using these type of lures, but I also am not very good at ice fishing. I'm just kind of getting into it by myself, but I'm just sharing with you what has worked for the past few years that I've been ice fishing. I have a ton of different things like that, like jigging wraps, bigger spoons and stuff. Like I said, I haven't really caught a fish on that before. I've used them, didn't really have much luck. So like I said, I would just recommend starting off with a wax worm tipped on a jig and try that out. And then, once you start getting more experience, you start to learn more, maybe you can pick up some of these and try them out for yourself. Well, that's really all the terminal tackle I have. Like I said, I don't really have a whole lot of ice fishing gear, but it's just enough to get the job done. So another thing that you may want to use is a tip up right here, which again, these are not really necessary, but it can help you catch some more fish. So your tip up will look like this. You'll have your bait obviously right here down in the hole, and then you'll set your flag like this. And then when that spool starts to move, your flag will come up, letting you know that you have a fish. I've actually never caught a fish on a tip up, but I really hope to this year. It's because I used to use like dead minnows and stuff like that on the tip up, which obviously is not going to work as well as a live bait. because I've been fishing with people that have caught plenty of bass on tip-ups and pike using live minnows, but I don't really live that close to a bait shop, so I don't always get my hands on some live bait. So guys, last up here, again, this is not necessary at all to catch fish through the ice, but it is an ice fishing flasher or transducer, whatever you want to call it right here. This will show you the depth, show you where there's fish, the structure, and stuff like that. It is super cool, but I actually have never used it, so I can't really say much about it, but I just recently picked it up, and I cannot wait to use it this ice fishing season. I really hope it allows me to catch some more fish and helps me out to find some better spots to catch more fish. But like I said, I've ice fished for like 2 or 3 years maybe without this, and I caught fish just fine. So it is not necessary, but if you want to and you like graphs, you can think about getting one, but I can't say much about it. I don't even know if it helps me catch fish because I haven't used it yet, like I said, but as winter goes on and I can start to ice fish more, I can let you guys know how this is working out for me. So to sum this video up, for all my beginner ice fishermen out there, the only tackle that you really necessarily need is an auger, the little ice scoop, an ice fishing rod, and a jig tipped with a wax worm, and that'll catch you some fish. That's really all you need. If you want to get some more fancy lures or tip-ups, you can do that, but it's not necessary to catch fish. So yeah, I hope this video helped some of you guys, some of you beginner ice fishermen, or if you're just already into ice fishing. I hope you guys enjoyed me going through some of the tackle that I have, and I cannot wait to go ice fishing. I hope to go out later this week, so I should have an ice fishing video up for you guys shortly here. And if you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave that thumbs up. And as always, stay tuned until next time on Bass Bros.